This brief video covers a lot of different aspects of growing melons and watermelons, which I've got both growing here in the same piece of ground, about 1 metre square. Not a huge space, and so I'm kind of making more of it by growing a melon up a string, as well as growing, planted quite close to each other, a watermelon that is, its actual centre is somewhere there. It's actually really hard to see now because the watermelon has sprawled all over the soil. And if I just lift this up a bit, you can see the roots there. And this is what many cucurbits do, including squashes. And as they're sprawling along the ground, they put roots down. And so that gives them extra power to grow more, even though, you know, there's not a huge space here. And then they kind of escape. So we've got a watermelon fruit over here. This variety is Early Moonbeam. I'm actually going to harvest it because I think you'll find it interesting to see. It's harder with a watermelon to judge ripeness than it is with a melon, because you don't really get the aroma. But Delicious Tale of Slovenia, actually Katja, she put this in one of her posts, that when this little tendril is going brown, that's a sign of ripeness. Having said that, it's not really brown, but then our weather here is not as hot as in, say, Slovenia. We're temperate, not continental, so like today the temperature is barely 20 centigrade, 68 Fahrenheit. Here we have a fruit of Early Moonbeam. So let's just have a quick look. It's a yellow flesh variety. So it's not going to be dark red. It's more a question of how it looks, whether we can see those little black seeds. I did grow it, by the way, from, oh yeah, it's looking promising. Oh wow. Oh, but actually, yeah, there are just a few seeds in there. I don't know if you can see them. And that looks ripe. You can see the juice coming out. Oh, look forward to eating that later. And that's from a home saved seed. I wasn't sure that it would work, but actually last year I had a watermelon growing right there. And I thought, well, I'll repeat it because it's got the space to run a bit. And you can see there's another watermelon quite close to that first one I've just harvested, which will now swell more. That's part of the reason I wanted to harvest that one, because then that allows the new ones to come on a bit. Whereas here, these ones, this is Minnesota Midget and normal melon. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, and they're on the main stem. And then I made a mistake growing it up the string in June. I managed to snap the top. I was twisting it around. And then I took a leader to carry on growing up and didn't know how well that would work. And for a long time it wasn't fruiting or anything. I thought, well, it's just going to make loads of leaves. And our summers are a bit marginal for growing melons because they need a lot of warmth. But look what happened. And we got 3 more up here as well. And that's Minnesota Midget, again from home saved seed. So I'm pleased with that as well. It's a bit of a first time for me. And when you're growing them up a string, it's just like cucumbers, twist the leading stem around. And just by way of contrast, I want to show you 3 more melons in the polytunnel, where it's not quite as warm as in the greenhouse here. You can see the garden looking very lush at the moment because of the rain we've had recently. We actually had 18 millimetres already today, 3/4 of an inch. And the brassicas, celery, courgettes, they love that. In here we have the summer plants entering their final phase of fruiting. Cucumbers still going. And these melons. These plants were a present from Stephanie Hafferty, who has a good account to follow. And there are 3 different varieties from real seeds. Tiger Melon, Early Granite and Kasakh. And just seeing those 3 together gives you an idea of the variety that's possible in home growing. And just today I noticed this one had fallen off. I've not grown these tiger melons before, so again I'm going to cut it open because I think it'd be really interesting to see. It's clearly ripe. You can see the difference in colour. Yesterday it looked just pale yellow compared to that green, and just, you know, overnight it had gotten that incredibly extra ripe. What it doesn't have is the strong aroma of melon that you get from the Charente, for example. Ah, yeah, it's a white one. Huh, how interesting. Well, really, I'll put a note in the video description. Actually, yeah, it smells pretty nice. So that's Tiger Melon, and then this one is Early Granite, and you can see there's 4 lovely ones hanging there. Again, grown the same way, up a string. And what you need to do when you're doing that is let the melons grow on a side shoot. So they're not like cucumbers, they're not growing on the main stem. You let a side shoot grow a bit once they got going a bit, and then pinch off the leader coming off it. So you just got a melon there. And then it's pruning, pruning, pruning after that. And then this one I want to harvest as well, because this is Kasakh. Again, I've not grown it before. It looks ripe. You see that extra colour there. Often you'll see a little cracking there. That's another sign of ripeness. And again, smell. You should be getting an aroma. But this one is not doing a lot of that. It's a green flesh melon, I'm noticing. It shows how different they all are. It's just amazing. And yeah, that looks pretty ripe actually. You can see by the seeds as well and everything. Let me have a little sniff. Oh yeah, that smells nice. Yeah, so some of it with these new varieties is getting to know them, how they react and when they're ripe. And I hope you've enjoyed this little tour of melons and watermelons. Don't sow any now. You've got to wait until next. I sow mine April undercover. Transplant them here after last frost in the middle of May onwards.